Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming Limbus company's Walpurgis Night and talk about what you want to be pulling for in terms of target priority. This is mainly for the newer players, since a lot of the old players already are just in collection mode. Once you have collected everything in the game and you just keep buying Battle Pass, you can just permanently collect everything in the game very, very easily. Right? So this is going to be mainly for new players to give you an idea of what is valuable and what is not valuable. I've already written the things on the left over here, so you can just go and refer to it afterwards. Right, so let us start off with how Walpurgis Night likes to sell their packages. Right, I like to call them packages because sometimes they release the ego alongside with the ID. Yeah? So for example, we have Magic Bullet Otis, right, burn character. Okay, then we have the Queen of Hatred, envy plus charge character. And then we also have your latest Solemn Lament Yisang. Right, so what do all three of these characters have in common? Their egos are must-haves. They straight up must have their respective egos. Right? This Yisang will not be an exception. They realize that they can sell two parts of the character in two separate boxes, making you pull more. And then you will go and do it. Right? So that is how they're going to make more money out of this. So that's why the new Yisang, you want to go and grab the new ego. I don't have the picture of the new ego, sorry. So you just pretend that this is the Solemn Lament Yisang ego. Alright, is going to very likely have some crazy synergies with it, because if you go and look at the Queen of Hatred ego, it straight up gives her a +1 skill tree. That's how ridiculous some of these packages are. Then this Magic Bullet Otis ego makes Magic Bullet Otis, the ID, into an actual unit. Alright, it literally is not a unit until it gets this ego, because it is very, very difficult for the regular Magic Bullet Otis to farm her bullets. It is very, very, very long. But once you add this, then the character is fixed. You will be able to spam this ego to farm the bullets. So that's why you need to have both of the packages. Right, so that's the first tree to talk about here. Right, Queen of Hatred Dawn also can be slotted into the middle team. If you want to use her, just because she has very good envy access, and the ego also has very nice healing, right? And in the envy team, you also have a lot of charge egos, because a lot of them are envy, and so you can feed her charge, which she will love, which will give her more power, right? So we love it, right? So this Dawn here is a possible replacement for the middle clan here, right? You can add middle if you want to, right? But otherwise can also be used in a charge team with no issues at all, right? After that, for the sinking Yisang over here, he loves to be in sinking, but he's actually pretty generic also. If you just press win rate with him, you will eventually use your skill tree, which will reload your gun for you, right? It takes a while for you to dump all your bullets, but you have very easy access to reloads, right? So you have a very, very strong generic character here that can do very, very nice Unga Bunga damage, right? If you can pair him with the sinking characters, he will benefit way, way better, right? So that's the explanation for all these three characters here, right? You want to get their respective ego. This is the envy character, this is the burn scaling damage character, and this is the sinking synergy character. Okay, so that's the first three we're going to talk about. The next two is going to be the 2 stars. This is from when P-Moon had no idea how to make a character yet, or they haven't realized that people hate pulling 2 stars. Right? It's the same for all gacha games. No gacha game will ever release 2-star after a certain point in time, just because no one is ever going to pull them. They make most of their money from 3-star, so that's why they will never consider making 2 stars. Right? Even now, Limbus, they always give you a free welfare 3-star character. That's how it works. Right? So yeah, these 2-star characters over here are a bit ancient. This used to be a bleed count character, but nowadays we have the Ring Hong Lu, so no requirement for this character. Then we have the Rupture Dawn, who still has a gimmick. She has aggro and self-sustain and Rupture count positivity. So she's not even that trash. She's still very, very usable in the Rupture team, and she has a lot of interesting gimmicks that can help to make your team a lot more comfortable. Right? She self-sustains, so you don't have to worry about her healing. She draw aggro, so that means that you can ignore some attacks from the enemy. She just go and pull it to her, so she can allow you to do other shenanigans as well. So that's why I think that she still has a place, but there are also, better options to go and use if you want to. Okay, so this character is the best one of the 2 stars, but this is really, really old already, so you should just forget this character ever exists. Right? After that, we have 3 stars that are also old. Right? Power creep in Limbus is literally canon. Characters will be power crept, and these characters here are the power crept ones. This character used to be a pretty decent generalist, good sustain, good unga bunga damage, but unfortunately with the release of the House of Spider Ryoshu and other Ryoshu IDs, this character is kind of like whatever already. We don't really look at her and go like, wow, I wish I had her. No, we go like, she's alright. Right? That's what she is. She's just alright. Then after that, we have Regret Faust. Her gimmick is that she has very strong AoE. She can just pump out a lot of AoE damage, and she can do a lot of tremor shenanigans. Unfortunately, you need Everlasting Faust Ego, which is the Tremor Ego for Faust, to go pretty early, so you can apply the White Tremor, right? So if your character happens to be slow, it's kind of ass. That's why some people like to use Mao Faust, who is ridiculously broken, ridiculously fast, and because she's so fast, she gets to Everlasting first. So you can do Tremor shenanigans with Mao Faust. I know this sounds crazy, but people do that with their Mao Faust, right? This character here, her gimmick of doing a lot of AoE also has been power crept, because now everyone and their mom has AoE, right? Everyone has AoE. So she is no longer that special anymore. Back then, AoE was a little bit rare, right? But now it's everywhere already. So this is not really a big deal anymore. So this character is power crept. After that, we have the full stops. The full stops are still pretty good. What these characters do is that if you only have one of them, they are half a character. But if you have both of them, they are 3 characters. That's how powerful they are, right? 3 times the value for 2 characters. These characters, what they do is that the Honglu will attack, then the Heathcliff will shoot, follow-up attack, right? After that, if the Heathcliff dodges, then the Honglu will follow-up attack, right? So that synergy allows them to get bonus actions for each other and also feeds each other poise. Right? So when they feed each other a lot of poise like that, they easily hit the poise cap very, very fast. Right? They can hit it faster with some supportive egos from their friends, but they do not require this. They will eventually hit the poise requirement very easily by themselves. They are very good generalist characters. Very, very good. But you need to pull both of them. After that, we have other burn support characters. Notably, this whole ID season seems to be focusing more on the burn gang over here, right? We have Philip. Philip is the Dawn Office character last time who had trouble maintaining his ego because his sanity would fluctuate like crazy. But thanks to the release of Harmony, he now has a way to restore the sanity. For those who don't know what Harmony does, it basically is a passive heal of his sanity based on the burn. Right, so it's very, very good synergistically with this Philip here, allowing him to maintain his form much, much better. Right, then we also have the 2 new Dawn Office characters, and similar to the relationship between a nurse father and an apprentice, I am expecting to see some synergies here with Philip in some way or another. If it's good enough, maybe we'll keep slotting Philip in, and if it's terrible, then we may go and swap him out for someone else. For example, the Tom Sinclair. We have to go and wait and see to understand what the Gregor and the Faust IDs are going to do for the Burn Tremor team. But very likely you want to use the Thumb characters, because I believe I saw Salvador does have some Burn Tremor shenanigans over there. Alright, so that might be the new path that Burn is going to take, mostly focusing on Tremor Bursting, Tremor Squash to do a lot of damage. Then you will want something like your Massault or your Otis. The reason why is because Otis can scale the burn damage by applying Dark Flame, and Massault can just shoot a bunch of fire for free because his bullets are just like that. Just bang, 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 fire, 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 fire. It's very, very easy to use Massault. Okay, so that's pretty much what I expect here. And the thing about the Burn team is that it's pretty expensive for a new player. If you are a new player and you want to play Burn, right, it's probably the most expensive team you like in the game, because the characters that you may want for the Burn team are all inside Walpurgis Night, and they all have accompanying egos. So it's pretty damn expensive. Right? Like, look at the full stops. Get 2 IDs, done, ready. Queen of Hatred, get 1 ID, 1 ego. Burn team, here's a Bullet Otis with a Bullet Otis ego. Here's Salvador, here's Faust, here's Philip, here's your Massault, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a bit too many. Right? So Burn team, highly not recommended for you guys right now. But notably, House of Spider Ryoshu is a very good burn character. So you can consider slapping a burn team together with Valencina and then just go crazy with it if you have the extra resources for it. Right? But otherwise, moving on, we have some very good generic characters here, which is your Night Owl Gregor and your Lobotomy Ego Ryoshu. These characters, what they do is that they are very good at mobbing. Very, very good at mobbing. Right? I'll put the Ryoshu over here. Alright, the mobbing part of these characters is because your Gregor will do free follow-up attacks on low HP targets to finish them off, while your Ryoshu will also do that, but she doesn't have percentage damage. Instead, Ryoshu will just do free attacks, and then when she runs out of ammo, she does a big AoE attack. So they are both very good for doing killing. That's what their gimmick is. So when you fight a lot of ads, when that boss spawns a bunch of ads, these characters are very, very lovely to have. Just because they can help to finish off these small enemies and save you a turn of attacking them. It's very, very good. After that, we also have the probably just best character in the game for Walpurgis Night. This is my choice for the best Walpurgis Night character. It is the Knight of Despair Rodion. This Knight of Despair Rodion can do everything except your taxes. What she does is that she has a tanking mode and she has a DPS mode. In the tanking mode, she is the thickest thing in the world. Very, very hard to kill, has aggro, and she's Rodion, which means that she has a lot of healing egos. If you can generate any of the healing egos, you just use that one. Done. You have healing access now. Alright, she has a healing ego on the WoW. She has a healing ego on the Zayn. She has a healing ego on Pursuance. Like you find a healing ego somewhere. She has some everywhere. Right? That's why I think that this Rodion is the best character for all of you new players. Right? Literally can put her into any team you want just because she can just press the guard button 2 times and then she can press win rate. Done. Don't have to think about her. She's a DPS now. She will do very, very high DPS. Right? Then for the last character, we have the Ishmael. The Ishmael Jong Office is something like an index character. She will ask for red, yellow, or blue, and then you just follow with the skill color. If you don't have any of them, just use the ego. It's okay. Right? So that is all she is, and she is basically going to be a Unga Bunga damage dealer, because if you just follow her mechanics, she will reward you with a lot of coin attacks. This was P Moon's, I'm guessing, first try of the index mechanics, where you need to follow whatever the index tells you so you can go and do a crazy amount of damage as a reward. Right? So I think this is their first experiment with this Walpurgis Night. But anyway, that is pretty much my explanation of the Walpurgis IDs here. Right? Many of these characters do have a accompanying ego, so do consider whether you want to get some of these characters, because you need to get the accompanying ego most of the time. Right? After that, we have the egos. We have the last few of them. Right? We have the Solemn Gregor. This one, again, you do want to try to have Linton, because Linton does get some very nice synergies with this ego here. Right? And then the whole gimmick of the sinking team with the butterfly is that they apply a crazy amount of butterfly, then they hit him a lot. Just bang, 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 bang. You can add Honglu plus Dawn Sheep Dawn. That will allow you to basically get a lot of hits from Dawn to trigger butterfly even more if you want to. Alright, so the sinking team has a lot of shenanigans, and it's all about hitting the enemy when there's a lot of butterfly on the enemy. Right? And with this new Yisang, I wouldn't be surprised if the butterfly stacks go to absolutely crazy numbers now. Okay, after that, we have a gimmick ego. This is going to be your Wingbeat Ishmael. This ego is old. Alright, this ego, the gimmick is basically, I want to roll 7 hits and do 1 trillion damage. Right? But the way to do it is so hard, because you need to keep rolling hits. And you keep losing SP every time you keep rolling. So you will not be able to ever get that 7 unless you just kind of set up for it in some way. Right? So this was the gimmick ego. And what happened was that after they made this gimmick ego, they released Solemn Lament Gregor, who literally had a more interesting way, which is just make sure your sanity is above 0. And then all you needed to do was make sure you had a specific passive that healed your SP when you are shooting the gun. Alright, so that's how they kind of made this ego here to walk. Then they made this ego over here to run. Alright, that's the Solemn Lament Gregor for you. After that, we have the infinite bleed count ego here. If you've never noticed, Rodion has a lot of count egos also. She has Effervescent, which is tremor count. She has Rhyme Shank, which is sinking count. And she has her Sanguine Desire, the Walpurgis Night ego for bleed count. So she has a lot of count shenanigans here. This is your bleed count ego. This basically makes it so that bleed will not drop at all when this ego is applied. That's why this ego is very good if you want to scale up the bleeding damage to a crazy level. right? When you use this ego, you want to follow up with a lot of bleed count application, so you can stack up the bleed count to crazy levels, and then you want to stack a lot of bleed potency, so the boss will bleed 99 every single coin, and you will not lose any bleeding count as long as you use ego. All right, that is the gimmick for this Sanguine Desire Rodion. Then for the last one, we have the Walpurgis Night Goat Ego. This is your Massault Ego, Regret Massault. This Regret Massault is so iconic because I swear to you, they are balancing Massault based on this ego. The thing about this ego is that it straight up gives +2 coin power to Massault on the leftmost coin. If you give Massault 2 actions, then only the leftmost one will get the coin power. But +2 coin power for -1 base power is ridiculously good for every single ID in the game. If you imagine Furioso getting a free +2 coin power, yeah, this shit is whack. And you can apply this to the Tiger Slayer's Flurry of Blades. Alright, this ego is absolutely crazy strong. It's a must-have for Burn Tremor shenanigans, and it's a must-have if you ever want to use any Massault ID. Just because +2 coin power for every single Massault ID is really, really freaking good. Right, so yeah. Massault gets very, very awesome egos, and this ego is no exception. It is one of the most famous egos because it's straight up activate ego +2 coin power permanently for the rest of the game for your leftmost action. Really free, really easy, must go and get this ego. Alright, that is pretty much all of the IDs and egos for Walpurgis Night talked about. Right, some of these IDs and ego combinations require you to pull a lot, so if you are broke and you have no lunacy because you go and pull on all of the other Nurse Father banners, I don't blame you because they look cool, but also, well, you reap what you sow, honestly. Right, so just try your best to go and prioritize what you want, and if you cannot hit pity, please do not pull. Right, that's the most important part. The reason why is because there is no soft pity in Limbus company. You will pull to hard pity only, and you will not get anything when you pull 70 something. All right, this is not a Hoyoverse game, right? You pull 200 or you don't pull at all. That is the summary. So either you swipe or you don't pull at all. Just go and grind shards, dispense whatever you want, and then after that, get out. The Yisang will come back next 4 months later. All right, it is not going anywhere soon. Okay, so that's it, guys, for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.